Welcome. Today we're talking with Nathan Rogers. He is the Chief Innovation Officer at Super Credit Union. Nathan, welcome and thank you for joining us at Credit Union Digest.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Larry. Thank you so much for having me with you today.
Great, great. All right. Well, Nathan, you have quite an intriguing position. Why a Chief Innovation Officer?
Yeah, it was a bit of a journey for us to get to that being a title that we had within the organization. It's one that probably most of us have seen popping up on the technology side of things a little bit more, not just in credit unions, but in general throughout business. For us, it started this way. I came to Super Credit Union a couple years ago as the Chief Strategy Officer. And our focus there was taking a look at where could we move from a strategic standpoint over the next few years, get a true long-term strategic plan in place, and then work that strategic plan.
Mhm.
Out of that, often comes a lot of projects, things that do need to get done in order to achieve the goals that you have a few years down the road. And they're longer term than we had really looked at in the past. Many of our uh, goals or projects were often within this year, I want to do this
Right.
sort of things in the past. So as we saw some of these longer term or more enterprise projects come up from that strategic planning process, there was a need for us to build out really a team that worked around making those things happen in the appropriate way.
Mhm.
And that's really where the chief innovation officer aspect of it came from within our organization. And that really is that it's where the rubber meets the road. Hopefully for us, that's our plan. It's been in place since January. We've added some new team members as part of it and looking forward to where we can go with it in the future.
Great, great. Thank you, Nathan. So, as the Chief Innovation Officer, what's in your portfolio?
Yeah. So that's kind of the things that is interesting for us as where this isn't really necessarily just a technology role here at our organization. We did want to take a look at this holistically
Mhm.
and see what it would take to accomplish some of these things on our list. So while it does include the technology team reports to me, we have a new what's called our innovation team
Mhm.
that reports to me. And that innovation team, that's kind of really the new and interesting piece of this. What I would call them is like the translator back and forth to the rest of the organization for technology. So they do a lot of the work directly with our third party vendors and making
Okay.
sure that we're up to date on how things are working at those third party vendors. Are we using them appropriately? Is
Mhm.
there more that we need to do? Is there something new coming that we need to be prepared for? They also manage all of our member facing digital properties. So
Mhm.
that team manages that. It includes a project manager as well for our larger enterprise projects. And it also includes a team that works on continuous improvement or process improvement within the organization. That includes writing processes and procedures, but also accepting things like what we call our Bright Ideas program, which is really our starter into getting that journey toward continuous improvement going within the organization.
Great,
And
great.
marketing. I can't forget that.
Oh, don't forget
So
marketing.
marketing's in there as well because it's what we're really trying to do. It's really about the member experience.
Mhm.
That's what the innovation team is focused on, and all of our improvement is focused on the member experience. But is that improved by improving the employee experience, for example, or is it improved through a technology improvement, or is it improved through a process improvement that takes friction out of the mix?
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you. So, what's your approach versus, using your existing technology versus acquiring new technology?
Yeah. So that's been an important thing that we've looked at over the last few years. My VP of IT reminded me of it this morning as I was looking at some others and some other technologies or things that we might want to do. The key factor for us is anything we want to do something new, we want to look at what we currently have and make sure we're using it to the full. If we get through that process and find that adding something new would be appropriate, then that's when we would move forward with it. But as we add anything new within the organization, or even look at our existing technology that we have within the organization, a key factor for us is, can it be connected? Can it be integrated with something else that we already do? Because this kind of goes back to the idea of what the innovation team is all about, and that is to improve processes. So if we simply just keep adding technology, as a lot of us have the tendency to do, you have one problem, let's throw the technology at it and fix that one problem.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't look at it as holistically as we should. And so our goal is to look at things more holistically and work toward doing as much integration as possible so that we can improve processes.
Great, great. Thank you, Nathan. So, could you perhaps share some recent examples at Super Credit Union on some innovation successes?
Yeah. I think one of our big ones that we've seen so far is the implementation of a new technology here within the organization. We took a look at what we had been doing in our contact center, and the problem with our contact center was that it took our employees too much effort and too much time in order to serve the end member. And that was because not everything that they were using was very integrated or consistent in the
Mm-hmm.
way that they would provide the service. So in that scenario, it was necessary for us to look at new technology because what we had existing was not getting the job done. So we implemented GLIA. We've been one of they tell credit unions to do a crawl, walk, run approach. And we went from crawl to walk pretty quick with them, finding out what needed to be done. And the beauty of that is, in choosing a partner like them, is an organization that isn't telling you to crawl, walk, run because they have to do that, but they're telling you to do that because that's what they expect most credit unions to be able to do. And since we were able to accelerate, they were able to accelerate with us.
Great.
And as we did that, that allowed us to implement a single platform for phone to video, to screen sharing, to co-browsing, to all of that in a single platform. I think
Nice.
that's been a huge success for us, significantly reduced time spent in our contact center. And that one is a really good example of where we're looking in the future, that everybody we looked at multiple vendors. We had to make sure that, one, it was a unified experience, and two, that there were APIs available for us to make use of in connecting to existing technology we already had. And that was a key factor in GLIA, and it's been working wonderfully for us.
Great, great. Thank you. Great example. So, Nathan, thank you for spending time with Credit Union Digest and sharing with us how the role of the Chief Innovation Officer emerged to not only facilitate, but also to accelerate the challenges of technology and process change. So, Nathan, again, thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure being here with you today.
Okay, good. All right. So, in closing, thank you for joining Credit Union Digest. If you have additional questions for Nathan, please see the link in his bio.